Women's side of Vanessa Blair-Lewis's team. Again, 23-8 last year, 14-4, the WBIT. And again, looking to try to build off of that now with a preseason number 3 ranking.
Yeah, and I think they will. I think preseason number 3 is right where they should be. They are a top team in this league between the talent that they brought back, the leadership that they brought back, and taking a look at what to watch for this team stylistically. They are consistent. They want to increase their post scoring. They have a very good post player coming back in Nalani Kasia. She was out last year for injury most of the game, but before that she was preseason all-third team for the A-10. A very versatile defense defensively. They get after it, they press in the half court, they trap, they press in the full court, they dictate through their defense, and then like every team we've seen, the newcomers will make an impact.
This is another school that we've seen over the years in terms of the location and talent around that they call it the DMV, but again, I think it's there for the taking, right, on both sides, and I love the addition of Tony Skinn. I think, again, we talked about this with Phil earlier, being a graduate, going back to your alma mater, I mean, it just means a little bit more, and I feel like that's the way he kind of coached last year, and Vanessa's done a phenomenal job with it too, so, I could see those two teams comboing again for another successful season.
Absolutely. I love what Coach Skinn said about having more composure for his team. That was something that he wanted to work on in year 2, was having more composure, that in the heat of the battle, your coach isn't also going off. Sometimes as a player, it is amazing to see when your coach goes to bat for you, when they go and get that technical that they didn't need to get, Mike, but they wanted to get to rile you up. But it's nice to hear that in his second year, he's looking to make that adjustment, to be a little bit more calm and composed, a little bit more mature in his second season. Yeah,
for sure. Let's hear what Vanessa Blair-Lewis has to say on the women's side for George Mason.
Mason Women's Basketball Program, head coach Vanessa Blair-Lewis and student athlete Paula Suarez. Coach, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a quick opening statement on how your program is looking ahead into the season.
We're really excited. I just feel like we just took off at the end of last season. We had a really historic season, a great run. Ended a little abruptly, and I just think that's the fire and the passion that we've been able to practice and play with throughout the summer and going into preseason. So I always say championship teams are player-led and not coach-led, and this team is truly player-led.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach. And we'll go ahead and open up for questions.
Vanessa, Zach Weiss, Atlantic10.com. Always good seeing you. I have to ask about Nalani being able to come back and just how much joy that brings you and how much compete level that adds to this team.
Oh, it's phenomenal to have her. Her presence being an all-conference selection before she left the program and then returned. It gives us such an inside presence that we did not have last year. When she stepped away from the program, Jasmine Doster stepped in for her, and she was more of a defensive player. But now to have her back, her impact to be offensive-minded and defensive-minded just gives us just such depth and an inside presence that we did not have.
Palmer Johnson, Giant Killer. How do you plan to build on the success you had last season?
I think we're right on track. When we took over this program, we had not won an A-10 game. And so for us as a coaching staff, we wanted to make sure we built it on solid ground and not on sand. And so we went from 10 wins the first year to 16 to last year to 23. And I think we're really right on track of where we want to continue heading this program. I just think that we have a veteran team returning with a lot of key pieces. We've been able to plug a lot of holes, and I think the depth is going to be what's going to be most formidable about this program.
Paula, buenas tardes y gracias para tu tiempo. Question for you is just the sisterhood that you have with these ladies, just what it means to you and just how it's been nice seeing that built.
I mean, it is great because there's still a lot of returners, so like we already had like that great culture and like chemistry from last year. So like the new people, new freshmen, and like new transfer just came in and like just build on that. And like over the summer, we've just building that chemistry.
I'll jump in here for just a second. Coach, both you and Paula spoke a little bit about just the chemistry and the importance of bringing back veteran leadership. Can you speak a little bit about how important that is when you get into the depth of conference play and the conference tournament, having some experienced leadership on your team?
Well, I think What hurt us last year is once we got into February, we had just the doldrums of February. We had sickness, we had ankle injuries, we had concussions, and we kind of started to run out of steam towards the middle and to the late part of February. And we didn't have the depth. We had 6 players that were injured. So when those key players went down, there was nothing left in the cupboard. And so we kind of limped at the end of February. We regained a little bit of strength back in March. But for us, that depth is key because, as you know, the season is long. It's very grueling. And so for these young players to get a chance to grow up during the non-conference and the conference is going to be pivotal for us going into March.
Vanessa, if you could there's so many returners, it's almost difficult to figure out who to ask first. So just how have they brought the best out of each other, and how having that shared experience last year, has that become even more of a reality?
Paula probably could answer this better, but I think there's a synergy with them. They know that they had unfinished business at the end of last season. We practice with that. There are times, from first season to now, 4th season in practice where I probably want to stop it and put somebody on the baseline. But before that even happens, before that thought even comes in my mind, I have the senior veteran leadership in Paula and Nalani and Taviana Habib that say, hey, Coach, we got this. Because I think they understand the magnitude of 1 second, of 1 minute, of one practice. And that doesn't have to be relayed through us anymore.